Best ways to experience any new city is through your stomach. And luckily for us, through Quebec City, it has been fantastic. I have Alison Van Rassel joining me now, food columnist.
Hi, Jess.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
There are works of art on this table, but first, I want to talk about your love affair with food. It began with your grandparents in the St. Lawrence. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship.
I spent my summers on my grandparents' farm. I fell in love with the beauty of local food, foraged and gathered and picked right out of the from the gardens right there. And I think when you grow up having access to such beautiful food, you're on a quest, a continuous quest to have access to it. Lived in Quebec City all my life, and
there
then
she is.
then, oh, that's my mère Laurette. Oh my God, she's 93 years old today. She'd be very proud watching this because obviously growing up and having that that desire for beautiful food and for diversity through food and getting to know one another through food is some of the best experiences in life, obviously.
It is.
And just being able to live in Toronto as well. I left Quebec City for Toronto, and then multicultural Toronto. I traveled the world through my fork. It was some of the most exciting times in my life. So I was working as a journalist there, and that's where I decided I was going to do it. Plunge full in and work through food. Beginning of the foodie era, like early 2000s, and Momofuku ended up in Toronto. We all know that now they're leaving. David Channing is leaving Toronto. That's so sad, but still being there, talking with the artisans, proximity, quality, and that relationship that these artists have through food. And yes, these are works of art. Absolutely.
We have been traveling with our fork. I like that saying. We've been doing that since we got to Quebec through Tadoussac and now through Quebec City. But talk to me about why the food scene is so unique in Quebec.
It's incredibly unique because we have gardens literally all around us. So we have l'Île d'Orléans, Chaudière-Appalaches, we have Portneuf, we have everywhere. So for chefs to cook here in Quebec City, it's having access to some of the freshest food. The food doesn't travel for thousands of kilometers before ending up here. And I think that's what brings more and more chefs here to Quebec City. Restaurants are chef-owned and operated. They're not restaurant groups, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that here, I think there's a closer relationship. We have very small restaurants. We know of Batuto, for example, who won Best New Restaurant in Canada in 2018. Nominated again is Alentour in Quebec City, is Le Clan. We have that relationship with food, and I think now, the language barrier is not stopping people from coming here. We all speak English, by the way. We do. And we're very happy to bring people here. We are at the Chateau Frontenac right now. It's the emblem of Quebec City, the icon. We have a Michelin star chef in the restaurant here, the Champlain, Hugo Coudurier, who's from Quebec City, traveled the world, came back here. So we have such beautiful food, and it is Michelin star-wise. So I just hope Michelin come out of Toronto, come and visit us here in Quebec City, of course.
We've been, as I mentioned before, eating our way through Quebec. Talk to me about what we have on the table. We're going to start with kind of a warm breakfast dish to kind of get the day going.
Absolutely. So this is a work of art by Maude Desroches. She owns a little grocery store, restaurants. Everything is 100% local. You see in that dish now you have daisy capers. Have you ever had the opportunity to taste a daisy caper?
No.
Please pick one out of the plate and go for it, because instead of those very harsh, very vinegary capers that come from thousands of kilometers away, these are picked out of our backyard. They're transformed right here. So it's an homage to something that exists in the world, but it's putting forward something that's grown locally, and that's part of our culinary identity as well.
That was delicious.
Yes, so a lot of squash water. Think of it. So this is not just working the vegetable for what it is, for its taste. It is, and that's what she does. Brunch meal there is the best time of day to go, and I highly recommend. One of the best brunches you'll find in Quebec City.
So we do have a frost advisory through parts of Quebec right now. It's a little fresh, but we are talking about something to warm us up.
I mean, ramen soup. It's an icon of Japan. Here we love Asian culture. We celebrate it so well in Quebec City. And I think that what the team behind Ono Izakaya and Ono Ramen are doing is absolutely amazing. This bowl of ramen probably has, I would say, 80% of local ingredients.
Right.
So the pork, chashu pork, which you cannot have ramen without chashu pork, of course. And you have the egg that's probably grown locally, the asparagus there, and the ramen is made in-house.
We're about 30 seconds off, but talk to me about these desserts because they almost don't look real.
Best for last, Catherine Mera, trained in some of the best schools in Europe.
Yes.
She is now established here in Baie-Saint-Paul in the Charlevoix region. Just opened shop in Quebec City, one of the best pastry chefs in the province.
My breath has been taken away by the desserts. Alison, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for coming to Quebec City.
This has been fantastic.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.